As you see, my Jedi powers are far beyond yours.
What is up, everybody? We are back. It is DCI episode 15. I am joined by big, sexy Bradley Crenshaw. I am Jayson Dardick, and we are back with another episode of the DCI Podcast. 15 episodes.
Is this 15 already?
Well, 14. You were gone last week for you. But 15 in total.
I went and worked on my tan a little bit. I actually stayed underneath an umbrella most of the time and still got a little bit of color.
Umbrella?
Yeah, on the beach.
Where were you at?
Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Uh-oh, a little Mexico. Well, speaking of Mexico, man, I know we do have our Cabo giveaway. We have about a week left on that. So go ahead and get your submissions in.
Is it already a week?
I think we've got 1 week left.
1 week. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Every card between now and then, we're going to give 2 entries for every card you submit.
All right.
2 entries.
2 entries.
Instead of 1, we're going to do a 2.
That's right. $10 a card.
Feeling generous.
Send them in the mail. $10 a card. Every card now gets you 2 entries to our DCI Cabo giveaway. Again, 1 week left on those guys. Get him in.
And
keep
Mexico
them coming.
is beautiful right now. Nice, hot.
That's right.
I was just over there.
He had to go make sure it was all safe, ready
the
for y'all.
margaritas are freaking awesome. It's so amazing. Lay on the beach, hear the waves coming in, drink a margarita while they serve you on the beach.
We've had an awesome response so far to this Cabo giveaway. I know our top probably 3 or 4 people are well over 100 cards submitted. So guys, if you keep sending them in if you think you're close. And this is a good way if you think you've maybe fallen behind a little bit to boost your numbers a little bit. So
2 entries every card. 2.
Let's do it. Going to Cabo. Come on, guys.
That's right.
You know what? While you're at it, sending cards in. We got DCI on your mind. If you will go ahead and leave us a like, subscription to our YouTube page. We've got killer content coming out weekly. Our media team's killing it. I know you guys got to meet Jayson last week as we touched on some of the NBA finals. We went over the state of the hobby as it relates singles to wax prices. And you
while we're talking about the NBA finals, I want you to go back and look at the episodes when I called the Warriors in 6.
Absolutely.
I called it Warriors in 6. And that's exactly what happened.
Not only the NBA finals, but the Western Conference finals
sure
as well.
did.
Not only did you pick the victor, but
I have this crystal ball that's
correct
in my office that I rub. It's what gives me the ideas as to who you should invest in, who you shouldn't invest in, why the prices of stuff should. No, I'm kidding. I don't have a crystal ball, but if I did, man, it'd be
fire
awesome.
up the DeLorean,
Absolutely.
a time traveler. Man, that's awesome. But yeah, no kidding. Not only to pick the correct winner, but the correct number of games. That would have been a pretty nice parlay if you would have put a ticket down on that. So we're gonna jump into this week. Kind of starting back on the NBA Finals. We didn't get to really go over the Celtics versus Warriors series and kind of, what impact that had for cards for Steph, Tatum, and some of those other guys. But, what did you think about the finals overall? Who left more to be desired? Who really stood out to you from a hobby perspective and also maybe just a basketball fan?
So, ultimately, it's still Steph Curry. Steph Curry has solidified himself. And to be in all honesty, to me, he should be ranked in the GOAT quotes above LeBron. LeBron should be in that what's called the GROAT. Do you know what the GROAT stands for?
I don't.
The greatest recruiter of all time. Outside of that, it's Steph Curry. Steph Curry is above LeBron now. And that's just my feelings. I don't care whether or not if you don't agree with me or not. It's right. My opinion. It's what I believe.
That's exactly right.
You believe what you want, but everything I do is based on statistics. I look at statistics. I do my homework. I don't just turn on ESPN and hear what the announcers are talking about and make my decision as to, hey, that is the greatest player of all time because Stephen A. Smith said so. Or that guy is terrible because Stephen A. Smith said so.
Right.
I don't care because Charles Barkley don't like him. I don't care about that. I look at statistics and what they accomplish, and you cannot put LeBron ahead of Steph Curry. Steph Curry has accomplished 4 rings on the same team. The same team in what, 11 seasons or 12 seasons?
Yep. 12
compared
seasons.
to LeBron's 4 rings.
In 18 years.
Has he got 4 rings? Yeah,
4,
4 rings, 3 different teams that he keeps changing and recruiting to.
Yep.
And, yeah, let's see, he was a rookie in 18 seasons. So he's done it in a shorter amount of time with the same team. Now, yeah, we can still argue the facts.
Sure.
That, yes, they've had a great team. They have Kevin Durant. They've brought in good players. But tell me what they brought in for this year. Last year they had the worst record, one of the worst records in the NBA.
That's exactly right. They were just healthy this year.
This year, that's exactly right. They got back Klay Thompson. They had the Splash Brothers. And when we said at the beginning of this podcast show, when we started, when the final started, that when the Warriors are on, nobody's going to beat them.
Nobody's touching them.
And that's exactly what happened. So,
well, that's interesting. I agree. I think, in terms of Steph's play style too, it's more he has pushed that next generation of kids to start, look for the three, run and move off the ball. That guy never stops moving during the game. And he showed in the finals why he is, in that best ever.
And I think it's more
conversation.
I think it's more of the thing with the hobby that because he's not flashy, he's not up there doing dunks and flying from the free point from the free throw line and things along those lines. That's I think most people like the flashiness when it comes to the hobby.
Think of Michael. When Michael came into the league, everybody was laying the ball up.
Yeah.
When that dude dunked the ball the first time and he dunked in your face and pointed at you and did all that, well, that is why people like that.
Correct.
That's why Michael, he changed the game of basketball from layups to playing above the rim, right? And now Steph has kind of taken that playing above the rim or playing, in we'll call it within 30 feet of the hoop. And now, forget it. Like if that guy steps in the gym, he's a threat to shoot the ball. Yep. Like and I think that he's really changed basketball in a way that Jordan did more so than LeBron has.
Yep, and that's where it's at, and that's where people need to realize the GOAT's conversations are, what did they do to change the game?
Correct.
How did
the
they
entire
change
landscape?
The game? Yes,
right.
And that's where those conversations come into play.
I
don't get me wrong. I think LeBron James is a phenomenal athlete.
For sure. One of the best ever.
But he, to me, is not one of the greatest of all times.
And that's, again, and I think that there's a definite, I think it's smart to clarify, but also both can be true. And again, it's your opinion, right? And I think everyone's very highly opinionated on this topic.
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, some of the comments that I've seen on some of these podcast shows,
it's crazy,
some of these
man.
clips,
People get heated up.
People get some kind of bent out of shape over
it's crazy.
LeBron James and that stuff. It's funny. I
really
see
is.
them. And, all I can do is just laugh. It's hilarious. So, keep commenting, keep posting. We love it. I don't care if it's negative, positive. It doesn't matter. Keep commenting.
All right. So just to kind of bring us down a tier from maybe the greatest of all time, I just want to ask a little simpler question. Is Jayson Tatum investable? Is he a guy? Is Jayson Tatum is he going to be that next level type superstar, or is he just a very good NBA player, all-star type guy?
I mean, I will say the one thing that I do appreciate with Jayson Tatum is he's not out there complaining on the court a lot, like a lot of players do. So, I mean, that I give him respect for.
Yeah.
Do I think that he is – I mean, I don't know whether or not if the Celtics – can bring in enough to get them past a Warriors team.
Right.
Do I think he's going to be, on the all-time charts, at some point, with whether that's scoring or whatever? Yeah, I think he'll go down, as and be in the talks of, some of those players. So ultimately, yeah, he could be a play to invest in. Now, if you look at Game 6. When you watched him shoot the ball, he airballed that thing more times than I could count during that game. So, but Jayson Tatum in whole, yeah, I think he would be a good.
I'm right there with you. I think there's that kind of next tier down of him, Devin Booker, those guys. There's still money to be made. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if they're ever going to be that upper echelon LeBron, Luka type.
Now, am I investing in Jayson
Kobe,
Tatum?
Steph.
No. But do I think he is? I'm picky. I only have a certain amount of And so I'm not saying guys that don't invest in Jayson Tatum. I'm just saying personally,
yeah.
I don't.
Correct.
So That's not that, the big Celtics fan up in Boston who loves Jayson Tatum is not, loading up on Jayson Tatum cards. Great. I think he's a good player.
Right.
So.
It just doesn't make sense personally.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. Well, to keep it in the NBA, I know we haven't had too many of the Cade Cunningham class, the 2021-22 class. Their products really hit the market yet. We're, I think, a couple weeks away from Prizm basketball coming out, which will kind of be one of the first big-time releases for that class. That being said, the next NBA draft class is already tomorrow night, Thursday night, they will be drafted, the NBA draft. So before Prizm even comes out for the year prior, the NBA draft is again upon us. So, I mean, we are now 12 months behind in supply chain. I mean, where are we?
Wow.
Are they honestly, they might as well just combine the two classes for Prizm basketball. I mean, we're at the point where I really I'm at a loss for words for how to attack these products.
I know Prizm for this next draft class should be coming out probably next month or the month after this draft.
Right.
But we're going to be getting the Prizm from last year.
Correct.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
It's made for a very interesting game plan to attack this basketball class. From prospecting and holding wax standpoint.
Yeah, they need to go back to maybe it's because we're printing too much product. Maybe we just need to go back to the 2017 and below where we don't print as much product so that way we can get it out the door faster.
That's exactly right.
I mean, yeah. So
it's crazy. Anyways, a couple good names to look out for. Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, Paolo Banchero from Duke. A couple guys expected to go pretty early. We're not going to get too heavy into this draft since we're still waiting on a year's worth of Prizm and other products to come out.
Are you going to open any Prizm basketball?
I don't think so. I really don't. I just think that the class, I think looking at football and then the price of the release of football, I think basketball is just going to be crazy high. Looking at last year's Prizm basketball, I like the class this year more.
I mean, you don't want a Stan Van Gundy autograph?
That's exactly right. I would get a Stan Van Gundy first off the line sticker auto, and I would be really irritated. And then you would pull a Cade Cunningham gold, and I would be. And
I would hope that I would pull a Cade Cunningham gold or a Scotty Barnes or one of those in the gold.
Yeah, right. I know. And so
speaking into existence.
That's why I'm not touching Prizm. And actually, you know why I'm not touching Prizm? I'm going to give you a perfect example. It's going to lead us right into our next segment. WWE Prizm. You can get those hobby boxes for $400 a box.
Are they really that low now?
$400.
Woo!
Yeah. So
I remember when we were in Boston, and I got up there, and I was like, you know what? I love wrestling and WWE. And so I was really excited about the product, but I hadn't opened any. And so we got to Boston, and I walked around that show, and I found one dealer with those boxes. Now, Ron Durkee was up there, and he was trying to buy every box he could get his hands on. Him and a guy was sitting out there in the lobby doing live streams on breaks. But I found one guy. He wanted $1,600 a box, and which I think that was probably about the going rate at that time. And I was like, I just can't bring myself to pay $1,600 a box for this wrestling stuff. So I waited, and we went to New York the next weekend, and there was a dealer set up in front of us, and he was like, it's $1,100. And I was like, well, man, that's $500 cheaper than it was last week. I'm going to open a box. But now it's even almost a third of that.
Man, it's crazy. So, I mean, think about that. You could have gotten a quarter case for the original $1,600.
What, did somebody pull the 101 Undertaker or something out of it that caused the product to drop? Or, I mean.
And I actually have seen in terms of just, I don't know that that's necessarily a long-term hold product, but there have been some pretty good sales for singles from the product for some of the bigger cards. But yeah, that is a prime example of why I will not be touching Prizm basketball, at least for a while. Probably not until next basketball season.
I can't believe with the Prizm football that even not only Prizm football, but the flawless football, I am surprised that the two biggest cards out of each one of those was hit on release day.
Crazy.
I mean, the 101 Mac out of the Finite and the Shield out of Flawless hit on release day. And which, that's great, but because it makes the product come down.
Yep.
You know, so it's not ridiculously high. But I just look back at like that triple logo, man.
It took forever.
That it was like they were just they knew what box it was in. We're just going to hold it until the prices of it goes through the roof, and okay, now we'll release it.
Yep.
That's almost what it felt like. Just because I know how many breakers there are out there, and I know how many people were in the hobby breaking wax to try to get that card.
Right.
And then for it to
magically
it
appear.
just dodged everybody for the longest time. So,
right. It was wait a second here.
But yeah, I mean, I can't believe that those two big cards dropped on the first one. So that should bring the box prices down somewhat. But I mean, on the same note, the reason box prices stay up is because the breakers and being able to split it up, and
Correct.
it's you know, and that's another business of its own, which is great. I mean, not to take any jabs there. I think that's still great. But
Absolutely.
It keeps the prices in the hobby sustainable on the card market.
Something that Grayson and I spoke about last weekend, our last podcast, was that kind of how breaks kind of control the price of the wax, as you said just now. But it's also a really good way to put single cards out onto the market that may not ever be broken, right? Like those super high-end cards that if somebody's not willing to pay $50,000, but 10 people are willing to pay $5,000, well, then that, it's going to put those more cards out onto the market in singles as well.
Yeah, and faster. And so,
correct.
I saw somebody posted this morning, somebody just in 2018 was when Josh Allen was a rookie.
Yep.
Somebody just now hit the 1-of-1 Contenders auto out of that.
Yeah.
They just hit it in a break. So it's been sitting in a box since 2018, but the prices of that stuff shot up so high that nobody wanted to jump in on those breaks,
right?
Because the product price was so high. So it's just been sitting there,
right?
And now it's been pulled.
And so, kind of along those same lines, Contenders Optic 2021 just came out today, and I know for a fact that the Mac Jones Shield Auto RPA, which is a new addition to the Contenders Optic this year, has already been pulled.
It's been pulled already?
Been pulled the first hour of release day. That's been all over social media today. So there's another one. Mac Jones Shields flying left and right.
Man.
Kind of to touch on that other breaking platform. I want to talk about something that we here at DCI have coming up and that we're very excited about, and that is our Whatnot channel. We are about to launch our very own Whatnot channel. We're going to be doing breaks, singles, auctions, kind of 24-hour in hopes, 24-hour round-the-clock access to DCI, to, wax, to singles, kind of things like that. We've got Jed, who we brought in, who is going to be a superstar. You guys are going to be very familiar with him behind the camera. He's going to be running that for us. But
he's also going to be on camera.
He's going to be on camera.
Running 2 camera setups, so that way you get to see his pretty mug.
That's exactly right. So you get to, you're going to get very familiar with Jed. He's a great guy. I think you and I have kind of started to play around on that app a little bit. You a little more than me, maybe.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you right now. Whatnot it's just a good it's a good platform for breaking. It's just one of those things, and even buying singles. It's so easy to push the yellow button and bid. It's just so easy, and then when you win, it just flashes at the bottom and automatically charges your credit card, and you just rock and roll, pick your number, and keep going. And
That's
it's
awesome.
it's fun. It's fun and easy. I like it a lot more than I do like going on Instagram to these Instagram lives and have to, buy a spot or pick a spot and have to go to their website and make the purchase there. Yeah. I like the click the button.
It's all in
simple.
one.
Oh, I won that spot. Boom. And then if I don't want to pay that price, then I just back out and I wait.
Right.
And it's funny how Whatnot works. What I've noticed, like buying into breaks, there may be a spot that goes for $250. The next spot may go for $140, right. And then it drops down, and then it'll shoot back up. It's just kind of all over the place. It's whoever wants to. Sometimes you can grab some good buys in the breaks, and then sometimes if you just want to get in there, you just go all out. All out.
It's kind of seems like this is another really good outlet for for selling cards, buying and selling cards. It seems like though there are any number of places now. You can open your phone and go to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can go to Loop. You can go to Whatnot. You can go to kind of any of these places like
Drip.
I know, and this is
all over the place now.
Is this very comparable to what we're seeing in the auction house side of things? Where
100%. Auction houses, vault services, all that. It's the same way that people gave such a hard time for the different grading companies 100%. That were coming on board. One time we had 4 or 5, that was, sustained in the hobby, and now we got 20 plus, so it's the same thing. It was just, that was something that started before all these other channels did. And so before you only had eBay or Heritage or, Golden or one at PWCC to use as an auction. Right. Well, now, there's Leland, there's multiples of these auction houses, and then they continue to alt is another one now. Yep. So they just continue to grow there, as well as all these vault services. eBay now has a vault service.
Right. You get a vault. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that.
Everybody's got a
vault,
good. And so is it bad? No.
No.
I think it's really good for the hobby, and that's what I need a lot of people to understand. The more people that are in the hobby, competition creates new ideas. Yep. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Most people they see a new grading company start up and they're like, oh, there comes another damn new grading company. Right. What do they got to offer? There's PSA. We only need PSA that's out there. Well, that's great. We all know PSA is currently king in the grading world when it comes to the number one thing most people are concerned with is their return.
Correct.
When we did the interviews last year at Nationals, we asked them, PSA or BGS, which ones do you prefer? And most of them said PSA. And then my next follow-up question was, why? And it's because I get the most money for my card.
Yep.
That's great. But if all these other companies come in and they bring a little something different to the table on the grading side that causes everybody around them to have to level up to a different level, it's better for the hobby. It's better for the consumer. It's better for the collector. It's better for everyone.
Absolutely.
So instead of us, anybody, everybody putting all these other companies down, how about you be supportive and, give them a chance and see what they bring to the table. Maybe they do have some things that are better than the others.
Right.
So that's just my one little, pet peeve that I've got with a lot of people. Most people don't like to see others succeed.
Correct.
There's too much jealousy in the world that people don't like to see others succeed. And if they will just take a step back and realize that the success for multiple people, especially like in this hobby, is in generally good.
Right.
It's great. It's great to see a 13-year-old kid pull a 101 Mac Jones and
100%.
Sell it for $100,000. That is
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
People wore him out. Wore that poor little kid out.
Yeah.
How he mishandled the card, how he didn't handle the card right, and how this kid didn't pull this, card, and blah, blah, blah. And what'd the card get? A PSA 10?
Yeah.
I guess he didn't, mishandle it too bad.
That's right.
So the negativity that comes from a lot of people in this hobby, I wish they would just stop. Let's all form together and have a wonderful hobby.
Man, there's a saying I really like. It's that it goes, comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. If you can't be happy for other people, you're never going to be happy for yourself.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it, right?
Yep.
So,
And I talk about things on this show all the time, and it's just, if I don't like LeBron, it's not that I'm being negative on LeBron. That's just my opinion of LeBron James on statistics, and so on and so on. So, I am, you know me in this office, I am a positive, upbeat person and enjoy what I do. And I just wish that there were more people that would take that approach rather than, always want to be negative about stuff.
I agree, man. So I think that, as we, that's something to look forward to, bringing in Whatnot. We got our Cabo promos coming up. Again, now it's going to be 2 entries for every for every card that you send in the mail. We got another week on that. As far as everything else, though, I think that's kind of it for.
And DCI employees are exempt. from the Cabo trip. Just
That's
so
exactly
everybody out there knows, because when this goes live and everybody starts posting on there, Jayson's going to be the one to win the Cabo trip, because that's not the way this works.
He rips the most wax.
Anybody that works for DCI is
That's right.
They're excluded. They are not part of the trip. So this is only for you guys, and it's just our way of saying thank you for your support, and continue to be our raving fans. We really appreciate you.
So guys, thank you so much. Get those cards in. Thanks for checking it out, and then leave us a like and subscription. And that's
a little bell icon. Check
that's
it.
Right.
Like it.
You got them?
We're good.
We're good.
Big Sexy out.
Later, guys.